I mean, we all got it wrong, but still.
LSU's offense let me down.
Oh, yeah.
He said he would. You said he would rush for how many? 300 yards.
300
Is that what you said?
And
He
how many
didn't get
touchdowns
half
you
of that.
How many touchdowns you said he was going to get?
I don't remember.
I think he said like 30 or 40.
Me and him said it'd been a close game, if they did win, but they didn't. I think they still.
Either way, it was a close game.
They could have won the game. They don't throw an interception.
My
there.
point being, Jacksonville State finds a way to win this game.
Oh!
We got another
Come on.
upset.
They're upset LSU. It's been 3 years now. It's time.
To finally get
It's
the
time to
upset.
get their upset against the SEC team. Jacksonville State's running back, Rod Thomas. Everybody knows him from Auburn. Jacksonville State's going to win this game.
I don't think that's that bad. I don't think he's going to do that.
This pick
That one-
actually does make more sense than last week with Georgia and North Carolina. I'm just saying.
Well, it depends on when Fournette's playing.
Yeah.
Jacksonville State's going to win the game. LSU's going to start off 0-2 for the first time since 1991. I think this is last Miles' last year.
I do too.
Well, I think it's
Even
because
if
last
he-
year,
even
but I
if
don't
he
think
wins
it's
the
because
game.
of this game.
Now, here's a question for you, though, Joseph. Does he even finish the season?
If
If he loses this game, no.
If he loses this game.
Does he even coach next week if he loses this game?
Oh, maybe.
I think so, just because of what he's gave LSU over the years. He's gave
To
them
be
that.
generous.
He's gave them a national title. He's gave them
Okay.
SEC championship. He's gave them winning seasons. He's produced a Heisman winning quarterback.
Okay. Now, I know this is going to sound really bad when I say it like this. You realize the national championship he won, the seniors he had, was the class that Nick Saban recruited his last year. They were freshmen
True.
when he had left.
True.
So he won. He still won
He still won
with
national
Saban's
championship.
players,
And he still got the ring.
but he hasn't been able to recruit. He got back to it since then, but of course,
He
we
lost.
all know who let him down after it. But he hasn't. Be honest, LSU's problem is not the players. They've been able to recruit good players. It's not. It's not as much the players' fault as the coaches, the position that they put the players in.
Cam Cameron is not a good offensive coordinator.
No.
Not at LSU anyway. MLS Miles just can't seem to get the offense going. I don't know if it's just their play calls, if it's Brendan Harris not producing, it's a combination of both. But something's got to be figured
Yeah,
out.
it's kind of a combination of
LSU's
both.
going to be in trouble.
That's
Les
combination.
Miles
Let's
needs
be
to
honest.
do to keep his job, keep going there at LSU to get back to a championship
He's gonna
contender.
win.
He needs to get an offensive coordinator, kind of like Lane Kiffin. As much as I did not like the hire when he first got on there,
Well, I
Lane-
love Lane Kiffin's hire.
Lane Kiffin.
Now you do.
See, Saban figured
I
out.
loved it when he got hired.
See, Saban figured out that he had the defense already, but against teams that he faces, where the defense may give up points, he's got to have an offense to score points. That's what LSU needs. Is an offense that can get back on track.
It's getting a little bit dark. I can't even see my writing anymore.
We hope you're able to see us.
Ready.
If not, you can still hear us. It's okay. Number 22, Oklahoma State taking on Central Michigan. Not much to talk about
Oklahoma
here.
State.
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State takes the W. Number 23, Baylor takes on SMU.
I really don't.
Could be close. Could be
I'm
close.
gonna say it's close. I'm gonna say it's close one.
I think Baylor still picks up the win. I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think.
I'm saying it's Baylor.
See, now, if this was last year, I would have said SMU because they were really good last year overall. But I don't really know what to expect out of SMU. I ain't seen them play yet this year, so I got to go with Baylor.
That concludes. No. that's-
Number
you got mine.
24,
No.
you got Oregon taking on Virginia at Oregon.
I think that's going to be a better game than what people think it's going to be.
I said that's a close one, but gotta go with the Ducks.
Oregon wins that game.
Gotta go with
Oregon
the
wins.
Ducks. The
But
big
it's going to
O.
be close.
Oregon wins a close
Big
game.
O right there.
Number
I
25,
did that.
coming into the top 25 for the first time. Miami taking on Florida Atlantic.
It's Miami, Florida, Colorado. There we go.
Yeah.
I think Margaret's got something going on in Miami. I'm not saying they're going to win that ACC this year.
Oh,
But
no.
Miami, I think Miami's definitely going to have something to work with the next couple of years with Margaret.
So we over
Alright.
Miami.
So that concludes the top 25.
Now what you
We
got
got a
to
couple of
SEC?
SEC
A
matchups
lot of
we
good
need to
games.
talk
But
about.
anyways, though,
Um,
we all
We
did
did
good.
have a few of
let's
those.
go off the bat. Let's go off the bat. South Carolina versus Mississippi State.
South Carolina versus Mississippi.
Alright.
This will be a heck of a ball game.
Okay. Last year, just a while ago, I looked up the last time Mississippi State went 0-2, and South Carolina started off 2-0. Last time that Mississippi State went 0-2 was in 2006. That's been 10 years ago now. Last time they started off 2-0 was when Steve Spurrier was there at South Carolina. They went 2-0 in 2012. I think they go 2-0 to start the year, and South Carolina beats Mississippi State at Mississippi State by a field goal.
Did they play? Where did they play at last week? Mississippi State.
Mississippi State they played at. Mississippi State got beat by South Alabama.
See, I'm gonna have to go South Carolina. Since South Carolina beat Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt, and Mississippi State lost at home to University of South Alabama.
South Carolina's
I have
defense
to
is
go
much improved.
with South Carolina because I think they can pull another away game this week.
I'm going to go South Carolina as well. The defense started off kind of slow against Vanderbilt, but it really picked it up in the second half.
Yeah, but
South Carolina
offense though.
South Carolina's offense picked it up in the second half. Will Muschamp still got a long way to go, but we've already much improved from last year. South Carolina's going to win the game. Auburn versus Arkansas State.
That's gonna be a game, but of course we gotta go with the guys in the blue and orange.
Who's going to be quarterback for Auburn is the
Oh.
question.
No, it won't matter. They'll all put them. They'll put them all on the
I
same
mean,
drive.
look at the first drive against Clemson. They had one play where all three of the quarterbacks was on the field. I mean, and it's not like Texas when they ran the two quarterback system that you had different roles for the two quarterbacks. When Jeremy Johnson was in, he ran the same type of offense that Sean White was in. I mean, they didn't change nothing up to fit that personnel. I think Auburn will win the game, but for the rest of this year, Gus Malzahn's got to figure out a way to get this offense straightened back out. Because that defense is solid. That defense was great against Clemson. He's got to get that offense straightened out.
I
They
agree.
gotta get the production of points. POP.
Power positivity. No, I agree. Auburn's going to win the game. They got to figure out their quarterback. Can't keep playing all three of them in the same play. It's not going to work out.
I
It
mean,
might eventually.
if it was like one trick play or something, I might could understand. But from the way I understood it, it was just a normal routine play.
Moving on, Eastern Michigan takes on Missouri. Missouri coming off the loss to West Virginia.
Okay, and if anybody, I know y'all ain't seen it, but I was the only one that picked Missouri to win that game last week.
Going with the W.
I think Missouri will bounce back from that loss. I think they win the game. Agree?
I think Missouri wins as well.
Mizzou.
Not really so much to talk about there. You got Middle Tennessee State taking on Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt coming off the loss to South Carolina.
I think Vanderbilt's offense will be more improved. I don't think they're playing as good of a defense as they did with South Carolina. I think Vanderbilt wins this game, and I think they win it big. I think they need to prove a statement. I think they need to win it big.
I said they win it. But I don't know how much. It depends. If they want to win it big, they win it big. It depends all about their production of points. But they should have won against South Carolina if they could produce touchdowns.
I think Vanderbilt wins as well. Running out the SEC games is a SEC game against an SEC opponent.
It's the only SEC. No, besides South Carolina and Mississippi State.
You
There's
got
only two of us.
Florida taking on Kentucky and the Swamp. Florida coming off the win against Massachusetts and fell out of the top 25. Kentucky with the loss to who?
It was
Southern
Southern
Miss.
Mississippi,
Southern
wasn't it?
Miss.
I
Kentucky
should
lost to
have.
Southern Miss. I think
This
Florida.
game?
I I think Florida continues the winning streak.
Yep, I believe it too. That's got to be Florida.
The last time them two teams met at the Swamp, it went to 4 overtimes. Florida barely won the game. I don't know if it's going to go into 4 overtimes. I do think it will be close. Depending on which Kentucky team shows up, I think it will be close. But I think Florida wins the game.
And Florida can pull it out.
So we all agree, Florida.
Not as many upset picks as there was last week. Which, of course, y'all won't know that yet. But
There was a much better slate of games last week than there was this week.
Next week.
next week's going to be the best week so far.
No, I don't know, because first week was pretty good.
The first week, and
The
I
third
think
week will be
anybody
pretty good,
watching
too.
this can agree, that first week was the best opening weekend of college football I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Would agree.
So we about
It's getting kind of dark. I can't see my notes anymore. Probably sure y'all can't see us anymore.
we probably
One
should
more
turn
question.
on
One more question
more
before we
honestly.
leave. Has anybody changed their predictions on the playoffs? Who's going to be in it?
On the playoffs? Well, what was my playoff picks, if I remember? Who's all in there for me? If you can read that.
Alabama, Florida State, Michigan, and Stanford.
Yep, I'm keeping mine right now. I have to.
The Florida State Clemson game is getting more and more interesting.
I'm
Let me
going
see-
Florida
let me see
State on
that
that.
say.
Florida State at Florida State. That quarterback of Florida State continues to be good and keeps producing, keeps improving. I gotta go Florida State.
Somewhere along the line, I honestly believe this. We made our predictions on the playoff
We all agree with it.
based on week 1.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, Stanford's going to fall.
Yeah, it will. It could.
Alright. Clemson or Florida State, one of them's going to be out.
Clemson, Florida State.
One of them's going to be out. I don't know
I'm
if you
keeping
can
Florida.
put.
I'm keeping Florida State in. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all got Clemson in. I'm keeping Florida State.
Y'all going to think I'm crazy. Y'all honestly going to think I'm crazy.
I got. If I want to take any of them out, taking Stanford out, I got one.
Who you got?
You wonder who I think? If the committee votes them in, Houston.
Dude, get out of my head. I was just fixing to say that.
You know,
I think Houston finds a way to stay undefeated, and they gonna find their way in the playoffs.
I hope they do.
I was thinking the same thing actually the other day. I was looking at Houston's schedule. Houston still has to play Louisville.
And that's gonna be.
That's the only other ranked team that they played so
But
far.
those 2 wins are gonna be big time wins if them 2 teams do something.
If Houston can continue their momentum and finish undefeated this year, after the season they had
And
last year,
if Oklahoma managed to
they
win,
need some help from Oklahoma. Oklahoma's going to have to win a bunch of big games.
Oh,
and
yeah.
some people are going to have to fall
Let me
behind.
tell you, just like the announcer said in the Houston Oklahoma game,
if you're
Houston
Oklahoma,
players are gonna be buying an Oklahoma jersey, rooting for them every game they play the rest of the year.
So, I
they need it.
I think
If Oklahoma
But
wins
if
all their
Houston
games for
loses the
rest of
game,
year,
if Houston loses the game, they're
They're
out.
at this point, I think Houston has a better chance of getting in than Stanford. I really do.
Yeah.
yeah, to be honest, it's not that we don't like Stanford. It's just Stanford doesn't. It's Stanford.
Houston looks really good.
But now, just like me and Bailey just said, if Houston loses one game, they're out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
I
can't
mean,
lose.
I even think if Oklahoma loses more than 2, Houston's out. I think Houston
Ooh.
needs Oklahoma to
That's a
lose
good one.
only 2.
To be honest, though, looking at Oklahoma's schedule, you know they're going to lose 4 to 2. At least 2. What?
Wrap it up.
Y'all
Well,
good?
We're good.
All right.
We'll do that next week.
Roll Tide. Really? Now that comes on?